Did you see Animal, by the way, clearly? Were you taking down notes?
I don't want to see Animal. Why? I don't want to put myself in a bad mood, yo.
You need to tell us. You are the one bringing a girls' night out, a girl party.
I didn't think that this was a girls' night out until I think for the Delhi show, we did a show in Dwarka. And I think Kusha had come for the show and she'd given us a review. Like she put the review for the show. Not that we asked, but I'm glad she did. And I remember she put it saying that the show is, I watched the show and then I got so upset that I didn't watch the show with my girlfriends. And I remember asking her saying that, so do you think this show is a girl? She said 100%. She said, you've got to get your girl gang. And then you got to trick a boy to come into it, saying that, meh, and then he'll also be like, oh, this is a great show or what? So I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, I like that vibe. So honestly, I started saying that because of Kusha, I must say.
Dubai has this institution of girls' night out where, you know, offers on dining is there just to make the girls gather and have this communal experience.
Yes!
Sharing gossip. Yes. So I think this is a great thing. You're just taking it forward, the tradition that's already established, by the way.
I love it. I love it already.
Is it going to be male bashing? Let's get that out of the way. Let's address the elephant in the room.
I remember, I'm not saying that, not that it's wrong, please. I'm a big fan of receiving that. It's a good content. But when I was writing hormonal or when I was performing hormonal, I more than about talking about men, I think it was talking about women. Like I want to talk about myself. I want to talk about my relationships, my friendships, and what is it that, dude, the politics for us has changed. Everything has, you know, as no one is paying attention to the fact that we are now, we come from a generation where our mothers were told to behave a certain way. And there is a Gen Z, which is also going through very similar struggles of, we are taught to grow up and behave like, oh man, we got to take care of a household. And then we found careers and we found ourselves. And now we're like, now? So as much as we're all fighting for feminism, and which is rightfully so, we are also experiencing feminism and understanding what it really means to us and what these things mean to us. So I honestly, I've just taken, after I broke up from a very wrong relationship, from that time till now, what I have become and how I'm in a relationship with myself as well. That's what hormonal is all about. And the whole thing triggered because I went and got my hormone profile done. Hormonal is honestly all about just the time where I started taking care of my body. I went to get my hormone profile done, and that's pretty much the spiral that started off. Here I am. I want to be a hoe, but I'm also hormonal. Yeah, it was just, I think, pretty much the conversation started with that. So it has. Not that I hate them, but it has nothing to do with the men, but it's a story about us. Right. That makes sense?
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I'm sure many women and girls will relate to this because often I think there is, relationship with narcissists and how to get over one, etc. You keep scrolling through stuff.
Yeah.
And they are just, confirming our worst fears.
As much as I would love to talk about my 10-year relationship, more than anything, I want to talk about what my relationship has been after that. Boys are boys. Boys will anyway ruin our lives. But I'm like, why am I ruining my life? What's the plan? So, and because I was, in fact, yesterday I was talking to one of my writers and friends. She, I was like, I don't know what I'm exploring in my show. Am I exploring the concept of masculinity and femininity, or am I exploring the concept of, are we ready to live alone? Have you been taught to live alone? And I was like, which side am I picking? And she was very clear to be like, no, you're talking about both. Because honestly, like the concept of masculinity and femininity has been a huge conversation in the way things are happening with me. And I've had some interesting revelations for myself, and which leads to me asking myself that, okay, if these are the decisions I've taken, what's the plan? Have I been given tuition to live alone? Because I don't think I have been. So these are the conversations I want to have. Plus just hilarious dating stories. And me growing up. I'm going to send you a screenshot of Kusha's review that accurately sums up my show. In fact, I can perform the show, but the summary is something Kusha Kabila brought it together. I should thank her for that.
Oh, yes, of course. We'll definitely take that. Did you see Animal, by the way, clearly? Were you taking down notes?
I I don't want to see animal. Why? I don't want to put myself in a bad mood, yo. Also, I don't want to give him money. Yeah, today I just had a meeting where I did a reading of one of my scripts, and they were like, "What do you think of animal?" I said, "I don't want to talk about it." And they said, "Why?" I said, "Because by talking about it, I'm giving Wanga Reddy, whatever it is, what he wants." And I'm like, I'm like, good for him. Enjoy. Good for congratulations. And I all I aspire is to have the kind of power that he has, the kind of money he has to maybe make a movie as big as him, where I get to reach the masses. Until then, I think I'm just a complainer. So all I aspire is to have his uh, his execution power, or the kind of support he has execution wise. But I don't know, channel.
Very good. No. It would give you good
I mean, I
material.
watched Sam. I really enjoyed it. I'm a big Meghna Gulzar fan. I would love to talk about that. I genuinely think she's iconic, and I think the fact that she was ready to release this movie along with him was just, I'm like, what a ballsy, what a guts. I loved it.
That's a boss lady move. That's a boss
Yeah. So
lady.
in fact, instead of talking about animal, I would say please watch Sam. It's Meghna Gulzar's movie, and
You're a comedian. How difficult is it to be taken seriously?
I'm not the first person to do this, and I don't think I'll be the last one. And that's why it's exciting that many more of us have to come forward, and because I truly believe that stories that are told by women, also other genders, that I don't know of enough, and eventually I will, or maybe they would be able to use me as a vessel to sort of say that story. But I think women at a given point have so many moods and so many stories and so many roles going on in their head that if I could capture even 3% of it, I have a fabulous movie. So, or a fabulous show or a fabulous story to tell. And being a comedian, I truly think that a comedian's voice to a story is a very different one. The way you see Saturday Night Live actors and writers come forward, man, I want that to happen for us. Like where here we are with our comedic voices, writing a good comedy movie or a show which also has its elements of drama, because I love drama. So the reason why I have chosen to write with strong female protagonists or flawed female protagonists is because I find it interesting. It's not only just a social agenda. It's also, I want to watch. This is what I want to watch. Like, yes. I'm not joking. I don't think it was an agenda as much as I'm like, dude, Meghna Gulzar released a movie with that. That's the kind of guts I want. I want to live with those guts. I'm like, dude, that's what I want. So it's not a deliberate thing to seem like that. I think it's also because that's how I see, like, I get that from my mother, because I see her being the go-getter that she is, the kind of hustle that I find it so exciting when when a woman it's more exciting to watch, honestly. Like, that's pretty much it. I come from a audience perspective. That's the viewer I am.
Did you get triggered with your own material?
I think in my 20s, I was overthinking it so much that how can I be the perfect partner, that I didn't realize that a relationship takes two. I actually don't want to blame anybody in this situation. I just want to be like, Sumukhi, but it's an equal footing. And I forgot that. I think it comes from my conditioning that you're a caregiver, you're a caretaker. So that role, I took it so seriously that I didn't have fun. And I'm not even saying fun in any way. I'm not even saying specifically in a, in a physical way. Emotionally also, there was no fun. So like now it's almost like with hormonal, I finally, if you ask me saying, Sumukhi, what are you looking for in a partner? I have an answer. And they're not like, I want tall, dark, handsome. I want banter. I want fun. I want jokes. I want, like, these are the everyday routine things that I want, and loyalty. Like, at the base of everything, a relationship has to have some amount of loyalty for you to be whoever you want to be in that relationship. And this understanding has truly been with how many times I've done with hormonal, how many women I've met through hormonal with this show. And I don't think my journey is complete. It's very, not cathartic, but it's not therapy. Yeah, actually, yeah, it is. It has been therapy to me, because it's really helped me figure out that there is the fun of life, and the fun of romance, and the fun of just having a crush. As simple as that. Like, these are the smaller things that I truly have started appreciating thanks to the show.
Was there a no-go zone?
Comedy is the only space where the audience is really smart. audience, of course, is treated for the fact that you laughed at the low-hanging jokes. But if I can give you a solid thought saying that, hey, Manjusha, this is where I'm coming from and these are my jokes, you will accept. You're telling me the truth. Don't lie to me. Because that's what audience also comes with. Like, even if you have lied, you would expect me to be like, can you tell me which one you lied? I'll be like, hey, listen, this I lied. Huh? I'm just letting you know. Exaggeration is fine. Exaggeration is the job of comic. But my thought or my intention has always been honest. So I think more than no-go, I like to dig as deep as possible. And I do get into trouble because of that. Because sometimes it's not needed. Sometimes it can be offensive, sometimes and emotionally offensive. I'm not even saying, the usual offense. But it's okay. If it's triggered you a certain way, means that I have struck gold. And I'm still trying to do that with this show. So actually, I don't have any no-goes. As a rule of comic, I'm trying to do that.
I think is the self-deprecating humor the toughest to do though?
I believe self-deprecation actually is the easiest that comes to us, taking the punches, because that also sort of makes the audience feel safe, that they can relate to it and also feel like, no, she's not talking about me, she's talking about herself. So it's a safe net for them to be like, no, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about myself. And therefore you can derive whatever relates, to you. And it's easier for you to laugh and enjoy the conversation rather than going, you can't talk about us like that. And also especially with girls, and I'm talking about myself. Like, I know that if you attack me with whatever, Sumukhi, you think like this, I'll be like, no, that's not true. But if I come and tell you that, hey, Manjusha, this is what I feel, what do you feel? You will have an open dialogue about it. Because, dude, the world around us is attacking us. So we have to, always, our guards are always up. Yeah, so self-deprecation is the easiest. It's the funnest.
It's the funnest. I love it.
But I must say that there's a change from my previous special to now, is that I tried to do self-deprecating jokes about my physical appearance. That doesn't get received well anymore. So I've stopped doing that because girls.
Interesting. You say, as a comedian, how much are you like you said, anything fat shaming or body shaming is color, it doesn't sit well anymore, right?
Let's not go there. I still continue to try and do jokes and digs about my appearance in my public show. Dude, the girls don't respond. The girls are like, "Wow, you're a queen." Sorry. This is like a feedback. Yeah, this is a feedback that I've gotten from Ashi Sumera only, who watched my show, and she said, and I did a whole bit on. I had a bit on fat small talk, like how if no one has any small talk, they just start, fat shaming because they're like, oh, you put on me.
Casual comments.
So I was doing that premise, man, Manjusha, it just didn't fly. I don't know why, and I think she told me, she's like, it's because your audience doesn't want to see you like that. I'm like, oh, that's a great thing to say. So, I mean, not that, honestly, the body shaming and the fat shaming jokes really work well when I do corporate shows. Because when I do corporate shows for like, stuffy suits. Yeah. They enjoy it so much. So for them, I write. But when I'm doing public shows, I have stopped making derogatory comments on my physical appearance because I think the audience is not, aisa mat bol. It's not even about woke, and I don't even think they're going far. There's no social commentary on it. They're immediately going, you can't talk about yourself like that. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. And I've given that freedom, I think, to the girls who come for my show.
Are your fans fiercely protective about you? Is that the goodwill earned over the years?
Yes, I think so, because now they've gone all DDs on me. They're very like, okay, now, even the youngest of the fans, like, you can't speak like that. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to, but it's one of the things that I think I remember saying it in my bit in Spoken Fest. Is that when girls back you, they back you, dude. Once they're your fans. They're like, no, now we will make you a star. Who's stopping you? But it takes some time to get their loyalty in. But once they're in. So touch wood.
Which was your toughest audience at all? Do you remember?
Recently, I remember there was one Delhi show that I did. Where it just didn't work. It was fine. The show was good. Everyone had fun. I had 2 Delhi shows. So my first Delhi show was very It's very like, I didn't feel it. I was not feeling the rhythm. I think it's also, I feel that day I wasn't the most honest version of myself on stage. So what I have learned from, all of this is that I'm clearly a comic who works on impulse. So I cannot rehearse myself too much. I'd like to keep the thought as fresh as I can for myself. And I think that day I slightly I did injustice by being more rehearsed than impulsive. And the lesson that I've learned from that is that especially before my shows, I like to be as fresh and I as clear in my head as possible and not come with the baggage of the day, which is honestly every comic's journey, that they need to leave whatever's happening behind and come on stage and be their best, funniest self.
You have like, some advice to women comedians?
There are practical problems to going to open mics. Like, honestly, like I get to go to an open mic because I live in Mumbai. I take care of, I'm living by myself. If I was living with my parents in Nagpur, going for an open mic at 9 o'clock is impossible. Like, actually, basic permission problems are there, basic safety problems are there. So, in fact, the advice I don't have for women comedians, in fact, I would like to say that wherever you find an opportunity to do an open mic, please do it, because you need. In fact, now it's time for a new wave. It's time for the smaller cities and the girls with their stories. Man, that's gonna be. We are not ready for the kind of savage and insane comedy that is in store there. So in fact, I don't know if it's an advice to them or maybe a note to me or to other producers that we have to find a safer way to get them to come for open mics. And also, really, pandemic, as terrible as it was for all of us, it really brought out the Zoom show. So I really hope that Zoom shows and the online shows get more girls to start, doing, like, I don't think we should leave that. I think we should still continue doing the online performance shows so that everyone from smallest of the corner can participate and try out and see if they have a voice for comedy. So that'll be great.